Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Swansea Beat. I don't feel upbeat.
No. No.
But I guess on the positive, we're back. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dustin Rubio. You can follow me on Twitter at Rubio220.
And my name's Alex Thomas, and you can follow me at AlexWinThomas.
So, over the weekend, we lost.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like our mood constantly on these episodes are just very dry and somewhat sulky because we always starting with.
The thing is, we're honest.
Lost.
That's the thing that's good about this. We're actually honest about the video. It's not like what Clement did in his press conference, taking the loss as a positive. That's just...
Yeah.
You know.
I would think if we played Man City, that would have been more appropriate.
Yeah.
Man City just slaughtering everybody.
But Arsenal...
And we would have lost 2-1 and went up 1-0 and only contained them to 2 goals.
Yeah.
That's when you say that. You know, you played those type of level of teams where... Like, or even Man U early in the season. That one, even though I felt like the score didn't reflect, and a lot of people didn't feel like that, but still, you can get away from that game with a positive, even though it's a loss. But this game,
Arsenal of all teams are gonna.
And, on paper they're a good team, and they can put out the performance. I like to give them a lot of shtick, but they can, they got some quality players, but I feel like they're not playing the way they probably should be playing. They got their own issues from the summer coming in. And even at their least best performance, they can still beat lower teams. I don't know. I just feel like if it was a Burnley, a Newcastle that went up right away against Arsenal, they probably would have got a draw at least, or possibly would have held off Arsenal to win that. But man, we just not doing good.
It's not like their star players showed up really as well, because they had Sanchez playing, Lacazette, they had Ozil. And the players that really showed up was Kolasinac and was it Ramsey?
Yeah. Ramsey,
that was pretty much it. And I don't know how to take away that. I'm just like, okay, we stopped their star players from scoring, but we just didn't stop them from scoring in general. It's just like, I felt like defensively... we played 5 at the back, and I feel like that deserves a bigger team. Like Spurs, I'd understand, because they have a stupidly good attack.
Yeah.
And even though Arsenal on paper have a good attack, their goal-scoring record doesn't show they have a great attack. Like, Sanchez is great from last season, but this season they've been quite terrible. Like, even though they're 4th at the moment, I still feel like we could have easily gone in there, played our normal 4-3-3 formation, and actually walked away with something, instead of just being like, oh, let's settle for a draw against Arsenal. I found that quite insulting more than anything. I was like, you're just settling for 1 point when we can easily go for all 3. We have a good record against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Why not just go for the win? Like, isn't that the end of our objective in the Prem? If we want to end mid-table, we can't just be like against big clubs, let's settle for a draw. Because we wouldn't have had that great record against Man United a couple seasons ago. We wouldn't have had the double against Arsenal a couple of years ago. I'm just like... Why now are we settling for draws against the likes of Arsenal? It just bombed.
I felt like with Arsenal, I felt like that was the perfect opportunity for us to get some points back that we lost to Newcastle, Watford. Some of those games where I feel like we should have won. We should have got points definitely out of where I think against Arsenal, like Spurs. We did good at grabbing a point. Yeah, I felt like with Arsenal we should have grabbed a point. With luck or whatever, possibly could have got 3, and maybe we could have if Olsen was in, and maybe we were in form or something. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell, but yeah, I think we need to pick up. We needed to get points, because we dropped a lot of points to teams that we needed. Those are the games we should have been grabbing them on, but I don't know. I don't know if I could agree with Clement on performance, because I think we were playing an Arsenal team that hasn't been playing their best. I think this is probably the lowest they've been as far as their morale always seems to be shaken all the time. But I feel like they're not in a good place. But I feel like even though we had a good record, I feel like this is the lowest we've been since being in the Premier League. Like right now, and probably even worse than the Bob Bradley situation, because Because I think we all knew his time was already, he was going to be done, and we could grab someone else. But I feel like team-wise, because I felt like back then with Bob Bradley, we had the likes of Sigurdsson, we had some players, Lorente, but now it's kind of like, who do we have? We don't really have
Tammy.
I mean, but I'm still not convinced. I mean, I'm glad for him. He's done well, but I'm not convinced. He's for me. I feel like it's, and it's not an insulting way, but it's almost like a Danny Graham. Like it takes a lot of work for him just to get a goal, and it's not enough to be a game changer to get points. I think he is looking good. I think if anybody can walk away with a positive out of the season so far, it would probably be him, because he's young, he's English, he's in the Premier League, and he's got a few goals. I mean, he was in the papers not too long ago about Chelsea were in trouble with strikers, and they couldn't really call him back because we had him, and he was doing good, playing regularly, and for him maybe he can get, but across the board I'm just like, I don't know. But yeah, Fabianski's got a good season as well. I mean, I know it doesn't really show because we've been scored on quite a bit, but
yeah, I think with the Tammy thing, it's more than anything, I don't want to rely on a teenager to keep us up. It shows where we are attacking wise if we're relying on a teenager or a 20-year-old guy to keep us in the Premier League.
Yeah,
I think Jordan Ayew's great and all that, but we already know he's not a goal scorer.
Yeah,
we defined that. Bonnie, he's not up to scratch at the moment. At the moment, I think he's just getting fit more than anything. I think
honestly, it doesn't even cross my mind that he'll play. I just don't see him. I'm not counting on him. In my head, it's always Jordan Ayew and Tammy. At least they'll work hard. And I feel like for Boney, I'm like.
But on a more positive note, I think pros of the game would be Klukas finally gets his first goal.
Your boy, Klukas.
My favourite player. £17 million.
Record signing, yeah, no.
£17 million for a guy who has to work at left wing back for our game against Arsenal. For me, Tammy made that goal. It was a really good through ball, and Klukas, he got a decent finish.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna say that's a great goal. Price worth it.
Yeah.
Get a grip,
Not convinced at all.
For me, I stand by what I said in the last video. He doesn't belong on the pitch for us at the moment. He's not even worthy of being a bench player. And that's saying that. We have Routledge on bench, and that's saying a lot.
As far as recap, I mean that's it. That's the tale of what happened. We were up 1-0 and just couldn't hold on, nothing, and then again for the manager to come out and say he's happy with the performance. It's a positive. And you're thinking of like a different sort of Arsenal. Like realistically, they're not the same, or they're not playing the way they probably should be playing. I wouldn't grade that as a positive.
I felt like Clement treated Arsenal as if they were the Invincibles, like they were in 2004. Yeah. Like the likes of Robert Pires and Henry. But we have to remember that was Lacazette who did nothing in that game, and Kolasinac. It's just I don't know how. It's just boggling how he just takes that situation and turns it into a positive. We need to keep morale up for the fans, because at the moment the atmosphere is dead for the fans at the moment. I think we have a very negative mindset. Most Swans fans, but you have to be honest with yourself and the team. It's like, is it working? No. Then what do we do? Obviously, I feel sorry for Clement in a way, because the board ain't going to really back him in investments in January if he does manage until January. And he's just pretty much got himself in a situation where it's almost a lose-lose situation now.
Well, let's get into this. Let's just talk about the state of the club. Went to this place, and there was a lot of Swans season ticket holders that were there. And I don't know if they meant it, what they were saying, but I think this was on. It's probably after the Man U game before Arsenal, the Arsenal match, and they were all saying, and I've seen this on Twitter, of guys saying they would rather get relegated and just restart. Yeah. They were saying relegate, and saying stuff like
they want their identity back or something like that.
Yeah, and saying stuff like they haven't enjoyed, Swans since we were in Championship, and stuff like, And I just, for me, I sat there and I was just listening. I was like, man, please do not ask me because I'm not going to agree at all. And I don't agree with that at all. And I did say, in the end, we were in the ride back and not everybody was in the table with us, was in the car. But I had said, I was like, that's just a ridiculous, thing to say. I'm like, we go down, there's no guarantee we come back up.
Oh, I said it before. I said if we go down, I don't see us ever coming back up for at least another 20 years or something like that. I feel, yes, we played exciting football in the Championship, but there's a massive difference between the Championship and the Premier League. You have to adjust to the system in the Premier League. And over the past few years, it's gone from us being like this possession-dominated team, and even Arsenal, a possession-dominated team, and now these days it's 3 at the back for almost every club, very pacey, which we have lacked in, and very much long ball has become the key thing, and creativity, and that's something Swans do lacking. If we stick to what we did, which is possession, even though I loved that style of play, I thought we had compliments from all sorts of managers saying we had brilliant play and everyone.
And the style could still work. I mean, look at Man City.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're not. I mean, they might do 3 at the back as well, but their style is to pass from the back. I mean, it's Guardiola. I mean, he was the one seasons ago everybody was playing like that. And I think Man City are a testament of the style could still work.
Yeah.
And for us, I don't know if it is the thing of the brand of getting that style back, or if that's just gone because that's football. Styles come and go based on managers.
I think firstly Clement isn't that style of manager to play that sort of system. I think it's been inevitable. He's been trying different things. You've seen the different formations he's played this season. He's doing anything to get a result, basically. And the system we're doing at the moment is not really working, as we are getting very much a lack of goals at the moment, and maybe that's because of the quality of strikers as well, and our quality of creativity.
And I would say that's a big one.
But at the same time, it's just like, if we did try and do the system that we used to do again, I think with our quality in our team, I don't see us ever being able to do that sort of style again perfectly the way we did. Yes, we had some mistakes back then, but we knew we'd dominate possession, we wouldn't concede many goals unless it was a very rare occasion. And now we're going into a game hoping we don't concede 4 goals per game. That was last season basically for us. And we, this season now it just shows the state of the club at the moment. The fans are going into each game thinking, I just want to walk away with a point.
Yeah.
And we're settling for points against like Brighton and Newcastle or Watford, Huddersfield.
And I've heard, and I've been part of the conversation as well of saying like, man, I hope it's not over 4 goals. We get beat. That was the thing I said against Spurs and Man U. That was a big thing of like, you're just hoping you just don't get hammered, which is something as well. Man City's coming up, and that will be something as well. Where it's like, I hope it's not 10. Because it's just, we are, especially now Austin being out. I mean, look at our business, the state of the club. Look at our business. We, in deadline day, get rid of our backup left back, Kingsley, to fund Klukas. And I'm just like, deadline day. And again, I know I said this before, but just the business as well. I mean, our best players being gone on,
Well, you see Llorente left on deadline day as well, and I don't know what the fee is. I think it was like £10 million or something like that. And I'm feeling like, even though I'm not a fan of Llorente, I'll be brutally honest, I hated the guy at the club. I felt like we sold out in playing him. But at the end of the day, he was providing goals for us. Even though I'm very biased, I just like, okay, I would have preferred a much different player to Llorente. But at the end of the day, he adjusted to a long ball system. We tailored it to him. And at the end of the day, it worked for us. And I feel like, to be honest, would I want Llorente back? No. I'm still very biased towards that.
I'd take him back in a heartbeat.
Oh, no, not me.
I'd take him and Siggy back.
But I feel like for us, it's just like, with the strikers that we got at the moment, I'm just like, we'd be lucky to even get a goal per game ratio going at the end of the season. Because, 38 games, and I don't know how many goals we've scored so far this season, but it's not many. It's about, I don't know, 8 goals, I don't know, something like that.
I don't know. I just know we are favorites to go down.
Yeah.
And we're not even in the bottom of, like, we're not at the bottom, but we are favorites to go down. I forgot what betting line it was, but we are more than Crystal Palace. I mean, you got Crystal Palace, who's in the bottom? Bournemouth? and Everton.
Bournemouth and Everton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know, we were relying on other teams to be, you know, worse than us.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think they got better players. You know, Zaha, if he can get his stuff together, Benteke. I mean, some of those guys they got, if they can get it together, Bournemouth. You know, I feel like.
I think we've discussed before. The one thing we don't want is relying on teams around us to lose. Instead of, for us, it's a key thing. We need to pick up points ourselves. Never mind rely on a Bournemouth to lose a game, Everton. Because let's be very honest, Everton are going to pick up form eventually. They're going to have a couple of good months, and they're going to end maybe mid-table-ish. It was like a Chelsea thing a couple of years ago. Like, you know, they'd just been champions, and then all of a sudden they had a huge flop. You know, they were in the bottom half of the table, and somehow they ended towards middle table at the end of it. And that's an Everton, even though they're not champions, but they do have the depth and squad to end in. You know,
especially now changing over manager already now.
Even a Leicester, like they've had a really bad run of form. Now their caretaker manager's in charge. They beat us in his first game. Then they had a result on the weekend as well, and we were like, oh, that's good. You know, Leicester are gonna be in the relegation zone almost. Now they're flying up, and we're just like, oh, and we're still here, sort of thing. So now we are gonna like, okay, we have to rely on Bournemouth and Crystal Palace, who one has a new manager in Crystal Palace, and Bournemouth, who usually pick up form in mid-season.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Yeah, I don't know if there's bigger problems. Like there's just a different sport I follow. They sold their company for like $4 billion and stuff like that, and the guy who's the president of the company has gotten a bit of backlash because he has already made so much money. Like he's won at life. That's it. He's got crazy amounts of money, and there are media that are picking apart his demeanor, the way his body language when he does press conferences, whenever he's in front of the microphone, or like, he's not doing his job. He's still doing the same job, but he is not doing it the way he used to do it. Not the same energy, the same passion, not the same care. My point is that when these new investors came in for the Swans, Hugh and all them, you know, Hugh Jenkins and the rest of the board, you know, they got rich, they got money, you know, and I'm just not sure if some of those guys that are still around, because like that other company where that guy made all this money, part of his deal was to stay still with the new company coming in and help him transitioning, where it seems like that is a Hugh Jenkins sort of thing. You know, got these new investors, all this stuff, and made a lot of money, but now, you know, he's still there. He's like the director of football, and it's one of those things of, man, you know, look, you were a construction guy, I think, if I could be wrong, but that was the business he was in before, was like something to do with construction. You know, you roll your luck, and look what happens. You know, you make some good decisions. You know, you rise up through the ranks, but staying there is difficult. And I think especially in a league where it's all about money. Liverpool, you're hearing the fans saying, it's not about the manager we get. It's we need investors that will come in and give us that sort of money to keep these players and the salaries. And I think for us, look, will we have that? I don't know, but those aren't the type of investors we want. Is like not necessarily Americans, because Man U and Liverpool both have that, but it's the money that's coming in, and I don't know. And I think with Hugh staying on, I think it's not working. I feel like for that, because we've said before, are these, besides Sanchez, are these Clement transfers, you know, or is Hugh still doing his sort of thing, you know, where he's trying to make things happen? Because Boney, I don't think Clement, that would have been something he would have been on his radar, you know.
I think that was pure desperation. I think the fans were just like,
but again, is that board? Because is that Clement's desperation, or is that, you know, his?
For me, that's definitely the board making that decision, or Hugh making that decision. But for me, the one thing that really bugs me about our board is just like, the Swans fans in general, we're not having such a massive expectation. We don't have like, okay, in the next 5 years we want to be in the Europa League or the Champions League. For us, the past 7 years we've been like, we want to stay up every single year. I've never seen a Swans fan's expectation be, I want to be in the top 6 this year. I've never heard of that. Even when we ended 8th that season with Gary Monk, with our highest points tally.
Man, that was great.
You know, and even at that time, you know, we were just like, oh, we need to stay up.
Yeah.
Because we just didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Even when we won the League Cup, that was still our aim, was just like, we need to stay up, we need to stay up. You know, we had plenty of football going on. We were in the Europa League, and fans were like, we want to stay up.
Yeah, I would have been that.
Mm.
I would have been that just based on, like, you look at the players we had, and we lose all our best players. We're just that sort of club, and we are that city where we are, you know, Swansea. I love Swansea, but we can't compete with the likes of London, Manchester, you know, Liverpool. And I think Michu, if he would never injured himself or got injured, he would have been gone. I mean, he was linked with Arsenal. He would have went to another Premier League team. I know he eventually left, but you saw Boney leave. I just don't think, and Laudrup as well. If he wouldn't have had a bad slump in you know in his time here, I think he would have left anyways. I think another club would have came along and picked him from us. So I feel like for me, unless we get the right investors, this is always going to be our problem. That's why for me it's always a thing of we got to stay up, and that's exhausting. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't want to be that.
I think the perfect description for our club is we're a stepping stone club.
Yeah, no.
You know, all the time. You know, Joe Allen's a massive example. Yeah. You know, born and raised in Swansea, came to Swansea City Football Club, and then went off to Liverpool. It's just like, even though he's
Ben Davis
from here to Tottenham, no, he's doing really well.
Yeah.
Barney, like you said, even Scott Sinclair, like you know, went from there to Man City. Obviously, he didn't work out, but he's in Celtic now. You know, it just seems like there's no really any players that stuck around except like the ones who's been with us in like League 2, League 1, and all that sort of stuff. We haven't had someone who's come to us while we're in the Premier League and stuck with us ever since. Yeah. Maybe Routledge, but just Routledge. Like, you know, we don't play, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's a bit more into the board and their plans and where is their mind at, you know? Like, I think some of these clubs' ambitions, you know, I mean, obviously you're talking about different types of money. PSG, you know, they're spending money. They're putting investments in to win. You know, to win at everything. You know, to win the Champions League, to win everything. Man City, you look at I mean, they look crazy. You know, they went out and got the best manager. You know, possibly the best manager, and basically said, get who you want, and we're gonna back you. And they look like they could win the Champions League. I mean, is that good? And then for us, I don't know. I just feel like for us, you know, you hear talks about we want to buy the stadium, and then you know the new investors coming in, the American focus on the marketing and trying to, you know, raise the profile of the club. And I'm thinking, is that even important? Because why raise the profile and have a really good stadium, and we're playing in Championship, and then the year after we could be in the league. Lower leagues.
I think the board's problem is the reason they're not extending the stadium like we've been talking about for the past 7 years is because they have a lack of trust in each manager they have. I think they have trust issues more than anything. They're like, okay, let us take control of the transfers. Let us worry about this, you know. And I feel like they need to find a manager they can actually trust. And the thing is, I wouldn't want to rely on them to find a manager, because Bob Bradley, like that, says a lot in itself.
It's something I heard early on in my family, you know, is kind of in the know with all the Swans and stuff like that. So anyways, I remember talking to him and my father-in-law, and he was talking to me, my father-in-law, about, this was last season, and was saying about how the Americans want to stay out of the football. Now, I don't know if this is true, but this is something they were saying, and I believe it's a reliable source, unless they were told something completely different. And I think if I dropped their name, I think everybody would be like, okay, yeah, they know. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Completely crazy reliable source. And from their understanding is that the Americans just wanted to do, just the profile of the club, the commercial side of it, and the football side was going to be Hugh and everybody else that was there. But then you look at a Bob Bradley situation, you're thinking that is not a Hugh thing, unless he's really sucking up. Like, there's just no way there's that.
Well, I think that was more of a commercial thing for them as well.
It could be right.
Because that's, for me, how would you promote a soccer team to Americans
Yeah.
when you don't have anything American in there.
Yeah.
So when they go, oh, they've got an American coach.
Yeah.
This,
That's true.
You know, let's push that. You know,
Yeah.
believe in the Swans. We got an American coach now.
That's
He used to
true.
manage the USA as well. You know,
Yeah.
go him. Like, you know,
Yeah.
even though he didn't have any basic knowledge of football in the
Yeah.
slightest,
Yeah.
I think that was more of a commercial
Basic
thing
for a completely different lower league. Like, I mean, he was out of his depth. You know, that was just a terrible decision. In how much time we lost then, where I don't know. But even then, before then, you think Guidelin.
Yeah.
You know, the season before, you think, you know, look, round of applause, everybody, Guidelin, thanks for keeping us up.
Yeah.
But this isn't where we want to go. You know what I'm saying? You're the guy, like, what's the guy's, Roy Hodgson, okay? So he's the guy, Sam Allardyce. Those are the type of guys you get
When you want to stay up.
When you want to stay up, when you're fighting, you're like, we got a fighting chance with this guy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But those aren't the guys at the beginning of the season, you know, for a mid-tier team or a team that's looking to invest. Those are not the managers you're saying, you know, these are the guys we want to get the next 3 years. We want Sam Hodgson. I mean, no disrespect, but I mean, in 3 years, I mean, that guy's old, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he could take a turn for the worse. And Sam Allardyce, I mean, you know what I'm saying? You don't really want to invest into someone like him. Now, they'll forever always have jobs because, you know, they will always come in and help out a team. But I think for us to go in and say, Guidelin, come back, we'll give you a contract, you know. And I think, you know, I was a bit torn because I thought, yeah, that is good to, you know, just to kind of honor his work and the stuff that he did. But I think the problem was, it started then. I think we brought him back, and I thought, man, he was never our guy. I think fair play, he kept us up, but you don't have to keep him. Anyways, but I don't know. I feel like it could be a bigger issue than what's happening on the field. I think it could be a reflection of what's happening in the boardroom and just around the stadium. But anyways.
Yeah. But let's round this up. Let's hope for Brighton on the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll hopefully recap that, or not recap, but hopefully we'll preview that in the next few days later in the week. But
So
anyways,
thanks for watching.